Right, hello people. So I've got a bit of boxing news here, of course. Fabio Wardley set for May 9th title defence against Dubois in Manchester now. Interesting fight, great fight stylistically on paper. It is heavily rumoured, but it is heavily rumoured, so yeah, I tend to believe it. It's been reported on by the Ring magazine, by Mike Coppinger, which is a very reliable source, of course. And yeah, Fabio Wardley versus Dubois for the WBO World Heavyweight title. Yeah, Dubois, of course, coming off his loss to Alexander Usyk in the undisputed fight. Fabio Wardley coming off his win against Joseph Parker for what was the interim belt before Alexander Usyk vacated his WBO title, well, relinquishing it to Fabio Wardley, who got upgraded. Yeah. I like this fight. On paper, it's a very good fight, right? These two men who get hit and deliver big hits, like big shots. So it's one of them where it's like whoever lands first gets it done. You'd think you'd have to give the edge to Dubois in terms of boxing skill set. My neighbour's dog's going mental, by the way, if you can hear that in the background. Yeah. Dubois, of course, was working with Tony Sims, and now has gone back to Don Charles, which is interesting. He's got a new manager in Sam Jones, which I don't think makes much of a difference. Yeah, like I said, I like the fight on paper. This is throwing my train of thought off. Yeah, no, I like the fight on paper. It's very, very good. Like I said, you'd have to give the edge in just boxing ability to Daniel Dubois. He's got good feet, but his defense is limited. He's got a bit of a wedge defense and tends to only defend moving backwards, which Usyk used to his advantage very, very well. Dubois would press him, try and push him back. Usyk would simply feint, which created the room due to Dubois' only really form of defense being stepping back to create room to escape. Yes, you'd have to give the edge in terms of boxing ability to Dubois. With that being said, my pick would be Fabio Wardley, because logically, if I was going to pick this fight, I'd say both men are defensively poor. Both men can deliver a hit. Whoever can get that missile, let's call it a missile, to the target, wins. And I'd have to give the edge to Dubois in terms of skill. But I've learned picking a Fabio Wardley fight with logic is not intelligent. And I simply think that this is going to be a dogfight, and I think you've got to nail that man to the canvas, and I don't see Dubois doing that. I just don't. I think he bends the knee first, in a ironic fucking. It's a very ironic way of putting it, but yeah, I think he bends the knee first to Fabio Wardley, and I think Fabio Wardley beats him in a dogfight in about 5-6 rounds. I don't think Dubois deserves this fight. It is, of course, a voluntary defence for Wardley. I do really, really like the fight. I've been very public on the fact that I love this fight. But should Dubois really be getting a world title shot coming off a loss for Undisputed? No. His CV and his record in world title fights isn't good enough to warrant an immediate shot. He's, of course, before the Usyk loss, coming off great wins. Jerome Miller, Filip Hrgovic and Anthony Joshua. Filip Hrgovic, of course, being for the interim IBF belt, I think. And the Anthony Joshua fight being the defence of the IBF belt when he was elevated to full IBF champion. But coming off that devastating defeat to Alexander Usyk, his record in world title fights doesn't warrant it. He hasn't got the body of work. I don't have a problem with fighters who are maybe dominant champions getting immediate title shots coming off a loss, because they have been so dominant. Or if their defeat was close, getting another shot. But Dubois getting a shot, as much as I like the fight, is probably unjust, but I'm not going to complain about it. It's a great fight. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.